Greetings, Earthlings. Welcome to Cantina Chatter Podcast. We're kicking the show back off after some time on hiatus. You can blame the Vintage Collection podcast for that one. But it's great to be back. Great to see everybody. And super stoked because I have my awesome friends who are always a joy to talk to. We got Grumpy Tom, Tom Charlton with us.
Hello.
And we got Dave, Jurassic Dave 93 with us. Dave,
hey, how's it going?
It's great to be doing this again. Been a long time.
Yeah, sure does feel like it.
Yeah, this thing still works. It looks like. So awesome. We got a brand new episode just in time for the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, just in time for Star Wars Celebration, which is coming up this weekend. I'm excited for both of them. I don't know which one I'm excited for more. Probably Obi-Wan Kenobi. But just because, celebrations aren't all they're chalked up to be in terms of like glamour and, they can be a chore as well. But yeah, it's all about the fun, right? I mean, it's Star Wars and, you can't go wrong when you're intermingling with thousands of other like-minded Star Wars aficionados. So I'm really looking forward to both.
I'm not going to Celebration, but I'm excited for Obi-Wan. That was since the acquisition of Lucasfilm by Disney. That was the one thing I wanted. Was Ewan McGregor to get one more shot as the role of Obi-Wan Kenobi with like a hopefully really good script, hopefully really good direction, because I think everyone can agree he's the highlight of the prequels. And say what you will about them, I think we can all agree that certain aspects of them could have been done better. So I'm hoping that this fills that hole for me.
Yeah.
And I'm also excited that Hayden Christensen's coming back, because he finally gets to run around in the costume for once.
I know. I'm excited that they're both back. It's gonna be cool.
It's just amazing how far we've come. I mean, I still remember sitting in the theater for Force Awakens and people talking about how happy they were that the prequels were gone and we're getting something new. I never would have thought people would be so excited for Hayden Christensen coming back.
Yep.
Just over the last 3-4 years, it's really done a 180. It's great.
Yeah.
Totally. And I think there's lots of factors that play for that. I think, time has been kind to the prequels. I think, for better or for worse, the more recent Star Wars films have kind of shifted some perspectives with regards to the prequels. Lots of stuff. And, they say, time heals all things. So I guess if you were not the biggest fan of the prequels, maybe there's things about them that you're nostalgic for now or you appreciate about them now. And, we also have all the other content like the Clone Wars and Rebels that have helped to flesh out these characters some more over, between now and when these films were in theaters, 20 years ago. So lots of factors. And I definitely think that it's going to be a time. I'm excited to have these actors back. I'm glad that they're going to have another shot with a different director, with different writers, with all the different ingredients this time around. And I think, it's going to be really interesting to see.
Yeah.
One of the things about the prequels, real quick, and I'm certain I've said this before, is, I think we can take issue with the characterization of how the characters were, how they were written, the dialogue, and certain ways how events take place. But one of the big complaints about the prequels way back was like, oh, the Nemoidians, they talk in that funny pigeon English. That's not Star Wars. Everything is so pretty and clean and shiny. That's not Star Wars. Battle droids, blah, blah, blah. That's not Star Wars. And 20 years later, like, all of that stuff now is like, no, that is Star Wars. Like, we're all used to that now. So I love watching those movies for all those things, and lots of those things I complained and moaned about. Like, I was one of those people who's like, oh, I don't like Jar Jar. And now I'm like, wow, I wish I'd shut my mouth and everyone else had, because he should have been in the next two movies. Toned down a little bit, but
Yeah.
But yeah, that's one of the things about the time healing on the prequels. It's like, Star Wars is no longer just Darth Vader's mask and the Millennium Falcon. Like, Darth Vader was the face of Star Wars. It wasn't Luke Skywalker. It wasn't, sort of Han Solo. But it was really Darth Vader. Like, that was the thing. So you made these prequels and you don't see that. Instead you see these other things. I was like, well, what? and now
Right.
it's now we've adjusted. Anyway, we're gonna see Darth Vader this week.
I know, isn't that crazy? We're going to see Darth Vader this week. I was reading an article with Hayden yesterday, and he said, I think one of the things about the prequels was, their manner of speaking, like "milady" and all the weird different things that they would say. He said that was a deliberate thing, that Lucas was cognizant of the vernacular, I guess, being, not what people really sound like in real life, and kind of being, and you think back to the OT, and I wasn't around when the OT came out, so I can't really speak to that, but I feel like the sequels more recently really like tried to be a little more earthy in terms of like how they spoke and communicated. Like I remember the one that always stands out to me is like Poe Dameron saying that big ass door, how are they going to get through it? Like that, like when I heard that, I was like, eee. Like that just was a little too grounded. I think grounding is important, but I did, when I read that article yesterday, I kind of like thought, okay, well that makes sense. This isn't Earth. They shouldn't sound exactly like we do. So I kind of, it's another thing, like now compared to back then, I do appreciate a little bit more, even if the dialogue sometimes is weird. I do understand some of those choices were deliberate, and I get that.
Yeah, I don't agree with those choices because I think the deliberate, stilted dialogue didn't lend itself well to the stories being told, but it definitely was a choice, and at least it was a choice made by one director with one vision rather than a committee of shareholders and stockholders and, whatever. Yeah. I certainly, one of the things about the Star Wars prequels, especially The Phantom Menace, is that it's a pure artistic interpretation of what this guy had in his head. Like, that's it. That's what it is. No one else coming in to say, no. He took the backlash and he adjusted Attack of the Clones, and then Revenge of the Sith was, but Phantom Menace was pure, that's George Lucas's idea. Like it or love it. Like it or leave it.
Better for worse,
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so in this episode, we'll be talking about expectations for Obi-Wan Kenobi on Disney+, things that we think we'll see, things that we don't necessarily want to see, and then we'll talk a little bit about, because it is, VC, it is Cantina chatter, so we'll be talking a little bit about toys and, any expectations we may have for Celebration. And we'll see. I'll be at Celebration on Saturday, so I'm really looking forward to seeing, if there's anything new on display, if they announce anything, and what that's going to look like. I'm trying to arrange an interview with Hasbro, kind of working that out right now. So if that pans out, I'll be talking to them on Saturday. I do want to mention as well that there is the awesome Dano from the Dano channel has gone through great lengths to organize a meetup. And this will be taking place outside of the Anaheim Convention Center, 2 o'clock on Saturday. Dan O, myself, and a bunch of other awesome content creators will be there interacting and meeting our subscribers, viewers, listeners, followers, all that. So if you happen to be there, come and say hi. We'll be there for about a half hour or so. And it's going to be a great time. I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be fun. All right, guys. So Obi-Wan Kenobi. I think out of all the Disney series that, we knew were coming, this has been the one that I personally have been waiting for. Like we're talking about, like, as a kid, I had already seen the original trilogy, and that to me was like the purest form of Star Wars. The prequels, I enjoyed them. I think I was young enough to like them and have fun with them and be entertained by them. But even then, I think I was old enough to I had a discerning eye to see, what things I didn't necessarily love about certain films. I think because I have that nostalgia, because I did, kind of grow up with these prequels, that I'm extremely excited to see Ewan McGregor, to see Hayden Christensen, to see, how that crosses more into the original trilogy territory. And my excitement is really up there right now. Like, I know there's a lot of other movies and stuff coming out, right? But like right now for me, my attention is all on this weekend, all on, this Obi-Wan series. My general excitement is through the roof. So before we go into, the lists, I kind of want to touch on a little bit on how we're feeling about, what we're really, really looking forward to in terms of excitement levels. Dave?
Yeah, this year for me personally it's just a little weird. I don't know, I'm walking around with my head in the clouds or something. I'm so busy. I can't believe that it's here already. I still feel like this year just started, and we're talking days now at the point of this recording. We're gonna get to see this, and there's a lot of on expectations I think going into it because probably we know the most about the story of this one. You know, for any of the other Disney Plus series come so far, there was a little bit of a mystery as to what we were going to be talking about, but we know what happened before and what happened after, and this is just filling in the gaps with probably, you know, a lot of people's favorite part of the prequels. You know, one of the better actors in the whole series. So yeah, I'm excited, and I can't believe we're here. It's unreal that we're talking about it.
Totally. Tom?
So when they announced that Darth Vader and Obi-Wan were going to have another duel, that I was one of those people that was really cranky about that. And in the time since that, I've accepted, you know, in the same way that I accepted Solo is the movie it was. Like, all right, if you're gonna do this, can you do it well, and can I have fun with it, rather than me being stuck in my little no, it was just this thing, you know. Go ahead, entertain me, and if they do that, I'm gonna be really 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 jazzed. I'm really excited that Hayden's back as Darth Vader. I you know, I've seen the promo stuff with the two of them together, and they have more chemistry now than they had on screen 20 years ago. It's so I'm really looking forward to those two acting together. Like that's,
Yeah,
I'm really excited to see that. That's just going to be a lot of fun.
well
For
said.
sure.
Yeah.
Definitely. So let's talk about things we want to see, things we expect to see, and things we hope we don't necessarily see. So we have some lists that we've put together, and we'll just kind of touch on the various things that we came up with. So Tom, I see you're first on the list. So tell us a little bit about your expectations for Obi-Wan Kenobi.
All right, I got to jump back and forth a little bit here. So one of the things I've complained about with the other live-action Star Wars TV offerings is a general lack of character drama, because there tends to be one character that runs around and does stuff. There's no interactions with other characters that allow for like building story arcs, right? And here we know we've got Obi-Wan, we've got Owen Lars, we've got Beru Lars, and hopefully some new characters that get introduced that are like regular characters. And they don't just show up like, you know, remember how Jennifer Beals showed up in like 2 episodes of Boba Fett? And she just sort of shows up and she's like, was it Jennifer Beals or Jennifer Grey?
Jennifer Beals.
Jennifer Beals, right.
Yeah.
And she just kind of shows up and like introduces like, this is so-and-so, and then, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping in this one we get some real well thought out characters. I'm especially excited about that for Reva, the new villain character. I'm hoping she gets a lot to do, and I hope she's got some depth. It isn't just I kill. Let's talk about Tatooine. This is the one story that I'm perfectly content with being on Tatooine, because it's the one that should be on Tatooine. There's no reason we need to send the Mandalorian back to Tatooine, and there's no reason why Boba Fett needed to decide he was just going to hang out on Tatooine, right? Obi-Wan belongs on Tatooine, so this one gets the Tatooine pass. Yeah, so those are the things I'm looking for. I want a lot of character drama, not just action.
Yeah, good.
Right on. Dave.
Let's see. Things that I'm looking forward to. A lot of obvious ones. I'm looking forward to the adventure, just to see what's going on. Because, you know, as we're going to find out, it's not just Ben Kenobi sitting in the desert for 19 years. He had stuff to do. So I'm excited. No matter what that is, I'm excited to see what they're going to tell us about it. I definitely want to see, again, these are obvious ones, Clone Wars flashbacks. Maybe not necessarily with Ahsoka, though I'm sure it's probably going to be there. But I want to see Hayden de-age something, and I want to see them in their Clone Wars outfits doing something, even if it's just for a few seconds, even if there's no dialogue, I guess. I just want to see that so bad.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you there. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think that would be a lot of fun. I do. I would like to see Clone Wars flashbacks. I don't think we necessarily need them, but I think they would be a lot of fun because the Clone Wars, everybody has, we've experienced it in animation, and I just think it'd be, very fan servicey, of course, but I think it would be a lot of fun to potentially see, Anakin, Obi-Wan, and maybe even Ahsoka there. Will they be de-aged? Possibly. I think for their ages, Hayden and Ewan look fabulous, but they don't quite look, Revenge of the Sith necessarily. So I think if we did see them, they would be a little bit de-aged. And I think that'd be fine. But yeah, I think that'd be a lot of fun to see some scenario where they're just out there, having a good time, beating up super battle droids or, whatever it is. Just, something wacky to kind of tie into the Clone Wars, but also, be a kind of a nice nod. Since, we like, as I mentioned earlier, brand new director, writers, everything is, all the ingredients are some of the same ingredients, but the recipe is different. So I kind of want to see what the prequels could potentially look like by seeing a little bit of Clone Wars and just putting a different spin on it. I think other things, yeah.
Real quick, remember that when we went into the prequels, what we wanted to see in the prequels was Obi-Wan and Anakin's relationship. And odd as it seems, that was a thing that was kind of ignored in the prequels. They don't spend any time together in episode 1. In episode 2, they're at the beginning for the first 15 minutes, and then they come together for the big fight with the robots at the end. Or they don't, it's mostly just special effects at that point. Same within the third one. They're together for the first 20 minutes, and then that's it. And then you're supposed to believe that they had this big friendship. So that's one of the reasons why, the Clone Wars was great and fun to watch, but I think one of the reasons why that sort of fan servicey stuff would be appropriate, because it's like, yeah, here is some of that we wanted to see with these actors.
That's a really good point. I think not until we got to Revenge of the Sith did we see a little bit more of that relationship, but it was mostly just cordial, for a little bit, and then it was like oh, go spy on the Chancellor, and then it just kind of went downhill from there. So seeing the brotherhood and seeing the more familial type relationship, I think would be great. And if you even get just a little glimpse of that, I think that would go a long way.
Yeah, I'm so happy that we're getting this as a television series, that I guess we're getting a 6-hour movie, 5-hour movie, whatever it might be. Because could you imagine them trying to squeeze all this into a 2-hour movie? It wouldn't happen.
It would have been a different sort of movie. I don't know if that would have been better, but if I come out of this excited and happy, then
Yeah.
Looking at Solo was the sort of thing that probably could have been a 6-hour movie. God, I loved that movie. The cast in that movie, just, yeah. Ooh, can I say one more thing I really want to see in this series?
Of course.
I want to see the Emperor. I don't want him to be hidden until the end. I just want to see the darn Emperor. I want Ian McDiarmid in his creepy mask thing with the hood properly situated on him, saying creepy, cool, dark side of the Force stuff. Yes. I want that. And I'd eat my own hat if we don't get it.
I love that. Oh, guess who I'm meeting on Saturday?
Ian McDiarmid.
Yes.
Are you getting him to sign anything?
My Vintage Collection Emperor.
My God, I'm tempted to mail you my original Emperor and see if you can send. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I'm excited. I hope he's in the series. I loved that he came back in the last, full length film, but as far as I'm concerned, they could bring him back as much as they wanted to, and I'd love it. So.
He's such a delight.
Yeah, totally. All right, so we'll go back to the top of our lists here. So, Tom, where did you leave off on things you would like to see in Obi-Wan?
Oh, I think those are the things that I want to see, and then it starts getting a little bit more into the minutia about stuff. So I think probably on to, yeah. I've got certain. It moves into the more things I don't want to see, I think, afterwards.
All right. Dave, do you have anything else on your list you'd love to see?
I do have a couple things left on my list. I guess The two biggest things I guess that I have left for me personally would be a Qui-Gon Force ghost or Force voice, some sort of established as to why Obi-Wan is meditating, why he's there's a point, there's a reason, and that's kind of set up at the end of Episode 3, and I just really want to see it. And if they don't, I'm gonna be upset.
If they don't, I'm gonna burn a house down.
Yeah, I'm gonna break all my Black Series and just
take
throw 'em at
that.
the TV.
No, that would just be, I feel like, amazing. Everyone would love that. And then the last real thing I think I have on obvious things that I want to see, like I guess sort of to like what Tom was saying, more character development and show us an unstable, evolving Vader, someone who's not quite the person he was in Rogue One or A New Hope, and who's moved beyond where he was left in Episode 3. Just show me him as a character, what's going on behind the mask.
No, that's a good point.
I did just remember one other thing I want to see. I want to see Yoda. Puppet.
Yeah.
I want to see Yoda as a puppet. He can be a Force vision or something like that. You don't have to go visit him on Dagobah. Maybe visit him on Dagobah. I don't know. But I want to see Yoda as a puppet.
I'd be good with something just like how they did in Rebels, like maybe communing through the Force somehow and seeing him.
Yeah.
But imagine Ewan McGregor Obi-Wan with Puppet Yoda.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be cool. That'd be really cool. I think it's possible, and that goes to another point that I'd like to see. Qui-Gon. I think everybody wants to see Qui-Gon, even if it's just the voice. In Clone Wars, it's kind of established that he didn't finish, learning how to transition to a ghost. So he's kind of just a voice, I guess. So even if it's just a voice, I'm cool with that. Yoda, sure. How do you do that? I guess you have to go see him in person, because I don't know if he can. I mean, I guess there's instances in the animation where he can kind of communicate. I know with Ezra, he was able to somehow connect with him, and Ezra could actually see him and stuff. So maybe there's something like that. Maybe it's in person. Bail Organa, I think we're going to see. I feel like.
Oh, of course. Yeah, that would be great.
I think that's he's probably going to play a. Just my speculation, I think he'll play a pretty decent role. I think if we're seeing Kid Luke, that we might see Kid Leia as well. That's my guess. And then the duel. I think, it's going to be interesting. I don't know how they're going to handle it. Would it make sense for Vader to lose all of his duels against Obi-Wan? Not that he lost in A New Hope necessarily, but he didn't really win either. Is this the time that Vader actually wins a duel and somehow Obi-Wan gets defeated, but at the last second he escapes, or you know how these things happen?
That'd be the way to do it. Yeah, that'd be a cool way to do it. Yeah, that would be great.
So we'll see. I'm looking forward to all of these things. Let's go into some things that we are not necessarily looking forward to or hoping that don't transpire. So I'll go back to the top of the list. Tom?
I don't want to see anything about Baby Yoda. I don't want to see flashbacks to a random character rescuing him from the Jedi Temple to try and explain why he was in the Jedi Temple and we never saw him before. Nothing with Baby Yoda. I don't want to see. I'm sorry to say this, folks. I don't want to see Ahsoka Tano. I don't want. But I'll eat my own hat if we don't see Ahsoka Tano. I bet she shows up. But I'd rather not. I'd rather not this be another, escort quest. Like the Mandalorian is. Oh, he hangs around with the Baby Yoda, which is very cute and lovely. But then there's the Bad Batch. They hang around with the little kid. I don't want Obi-Wan to be hanging around with a little kid the entire time. I know he's protecting Luke, but I don't want to see him running around protecting Luke. I don't want to see him running around protecting Baby Leia. I want him off doing something that doesn't involve directly escorting a kid around.
All right.
Yeah, I think those are my big do not wants. I don't want to see Inquisitor lightsabers spinning around and people helicoptering around on them. But we might.
Who knows? What about Dexter Jester, Tom? You didn't mention Dexter
Oh,
Jester.
God, I'd love to see Dexter Jester. Dexter Jester's amazing. I love him. Yeah, no question. I would love to see Jar Jar. I know we won't, but I'd love it. Yeah.
Yeah, could you imagine?
Oh my gosh, that would make me so happy, honestly.
I'm so happy to see you, Obi.
Yeah. Yeah. That would be great. And he doesn't get killed off or anything like that, and he doesn't go live a clown's life or whatever thing in one of those novel tie-ins was. Nope. Yeah. Just good old Jar Jar. Just, like he was in the Clone Wars. Goofy and fun, but not,
too goofy and too fun.
Maybe with a cane and a back problem or something.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Oh, Misa's back is really killing me now. Ooh, Usa. Yeah, I'd love it. Yeah, I think we'd have heard from Ahmed Best if we were getting that, though. So I don't think that they'd be able to keep that a secret. If they did manage to keep that a secret, I'll be jumping on the couch.
It would be interesting to see what a CG Jar Jar could look like today.
Yeah.
Motion capture and all that would be interesting. Dave, what about you? What are a few things you don't want to see in Obi-Wan?
My first thing is I don't really want any tie-ins to video games. Like, I guess Fallen Order is probably the closest one. I don't really have any real reason why. I just don't want the universe expanded even more. I just kind of want to focus on what we're going to focus on. Even though the Inquisitors and everything, have a lot to do with what's going on. And then I don't want any. I guess I don't want any explanation to explain like, hey, this happened in the Clone Wars. So I don't want any explanation of, hey, I'm Obi-Wan and I knew that Anakin and Padme had something going on the whole time, even though you didn't see it in the trilogy, but I knew it. Like just anything obvious or on the nose like that. I just kind of like the way they did it in the Clone Wars animated series. It
was so clear in Revenge of the Sith he knew.
Yeah, but I don't think...
Both him and Yoda. Yoda, like, Obi-Wan's like, I don't know where to find him. And Yoda looks at him and goes, you know how to find Anakin, come on. And he's like, okay. And he just goes to Padme. Like, they figured it out.
No, I guess maybe I didn't say it the right way. I don't want any, like, sort of how they did it in Episode 9, where things like that are, like, explained out. Like, they're just going to say it and speak it. You know what I mean? And I think I like the way that they did it in Clone Wars better. And yes, what you said is true, but I don't want any, like, turn to the camera and be like, hey.
Right.
I knew.
Yeah, no, totally agree with you there. Let's allow some subtext to remain in our Star Wars.
I felt like that's how things were done in Episode 9. It was kind of just like, hey, general public,
and not even just that. I feel like in the sequels, to some extent, it was either they told you everything or they told you nothing, and there wasn't much of a middle ground. Like the Knights of Ren, okay, like nothing. All right, how did Maz Kanata get the lightsaber? Nothing. Like, it was just like, it was that, they tell you nothing or they tell you everything, like the Wayfinder blade thing, and they spelled that out completely. Like, it's just, so I'd kind of like it to be a little more, leave some, make it subtle, give us some stuff, but you don't need to, like, spell it out necessarily. And
there's some stuff that's pretty obvious that you don't need to have spelled out. Like, do you remember in The Force Awakens when Leia finally gets reintroduced and her entire basic first scene is just exposition about why Ben Solo turned to the dark side? Like, I've waited 20, 30 years to see Leia back, and she's like, our son was corrupted by evil Snoke, and that when he was off with Luke, but Luke can't save him, but you can because you are his father. I thought she was supposed to be a Jedi. No, sorry. Anyway, yes,
no,
completely
you're
agree
right.
with you guys. Completely
Star Wars
agree.
has been here now for a decade under Disney with cartoons, animation, the movies, now live-action shows. So you're right. I think the fans are back. There's no 10-year hiatus where we need to get casual people caught back up. You're right in what you say, yeah.
Casuals can take a hike. Get out of my Star Wars, you casuals. I'm closing the gate behind you. Behind me. Behind something. Closing the gate. I'm gatekeeping. I'm gatekeeper guy now.
Ah, one of those. What else, Dave? What other things would you not like to see in Obi-Wan?
I think Tom already touched on this, but I don't want too much of baby Luke Skywalker. I really don't even want a scene where with them that's prolonged. I like what we saw in the trailer, and I hope that's it.
Yeah, I like one of the things you have here in your notes too. Why Kenobi will age super fast. Like, it doesn't need to be like Palpatine, right? He doesn't get blasted with lightning and he just ages into Alec Guinness. Like, that'd be weird.
Remember when we saw Return of the Jedi, and we all just assumed the Emperor was really wrinkly because he was a really, really old guy?
Mm-hmm.
That was fine.
Yeah, I to this day I still don't know whether or not he was he always looked evil like that, or if like lightning did it. Like,
I don't know.
I'm gonna ask Ian on
I'll
Saturday.
only accept it if they do it. I know I'm ragging on episode 9, but if they have like a post credit at the end of the series and someone from afar says, "Why does Obi-Wan look so old?" and then they'll say something, "Dark magic, secrets that only the Kenobis knew."
Yeah, I don't want that either.
Yeah. You want to know why he looks different? Because he's played by a different actor.
Yeah.
And we weren't ruining it by doing weird technological stuff to make them look the same. That's why.
Yeah.
Let actors be actors and let them act with their faces.
People are aging at a slower rate than they used to. So.
Well, yeah, sure. Yeah. I don't care. he looks like Alec Guinness in one, and he looks like Ewan McGregor in the other. I don't care. I don't want any explanation for that either. No,
yeah, it doesn't.
No.
It doesn't. Yeah,
No,
you don't
he's
need to
older.
explain.
It's the desert. It's bad on it. He doesn't get enough sunscreen. I mean, they've made the joke a zillion times, but it's like, no.
Yeah.
There's two suns.
There's two suns, twice the sunburn, maybe.
Twice the sunburn, double the fall.
Yeah.
Twice the suns, double the burn. So as far as my I agree, Tom. I don't want any helicoptering Inquisitors. No flying Inquisitors. That they went the whole entirety
Wait,
of
who wants
the
to say
first...
They fly now?
Oh God.
Uh,
Yeah, it was that. I mean, because they went the whole entirety of I don't even remember how many seasons it was, 2-3 seasons of Rebels without that being a thing. Like, they just had these cool sabers and then all of a sudden, in that excellent, these are some of the best episodes of Rebels. All of a sudden, they take off and they're like flying. It's like, what? It's like, why did they think that was a good idea?
I don't know. I don't know.
So, yeah, I don't want to see that. They should erase that. It never happened. It never happened.
Can we all agree that the Inquisitor lightsabers are kind of the lamest lightsabers out there?
yeah.
The little circle thing they spent. No, I don't.
Yeah, the way I kind of see them is they kind of took inspiration from Darth Maul and from Grievous. So they're kind of motorized, so they So, I don't know. But yeah, they are all the same, right? And I've always had issues with the Inquisitors, honestly. I don't necessarily... I've never really loved the idea of Inquisitors. I don't think you really need them to add... I don't think they add anything to Star Wars, to the story. I think it was fine when it was just the Emperor and Vader. Those are the two Force-sensitive bad guys in the universe. I don't think Inquisitors ever really did anything to enhance that. So, I
agree with you.
I enjoyed them in Fallen Order. I thought that was, a little bit better than Rebels. But I hope that Obi-Wan series goes to further lengths to maybe help me to like them and be a little more on board with them. But that remains to be seen.
Yeah. I liked the first Inquisitor, the Grand Inquisitor. I thought he was relatively fun, albeit incredibly one note. But then when the other two showed up, I was really excited about those ones too, because one of them's Sarah Michelle Gellar. So I was like, oh, it's Darth Buffy. That's exciting. And I just didn't. I found both of those characters to be such dull, uninteresting antagonists that was like, eh. So seeing one of them show up in this, I'm like, I don't. No. No. Also, I guess Rupert Grint said that he didn't watch any of Rebels to prepare him for the role, and that some people were very upset about that. But, like, guys, I mean, I love Jason Isaacs as much as the next person, but there wasn't a whole lot there. He's a bad guy. He's like, I'm a snarling bad guy, and I'm gonna get ya, Jedi. Brrr! You know, it's like me playing me, right? It's not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you don't need to have studied that role real deeply to understand what you're doing.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I do see the value in, you know, it's an established character, so I do see the value in studying that a little bit. But you know, it is what it is. It's like, you know, it isn't like it's not like he's playing like a major character or anything that. So yeah, I mean, as long as it's done well and you know it kind of fits. I mean, it doesn't need to fit exactly like. I mean, obviously he doesn't look like the Grand Inquisitor too much, like from the show. So as long as it's well done, it's believable and compelling, I think that'll be enough. I saw that article too, though, Tom, and I think one of the things he said is that like his Inquisitor, his version of him is like the kind of guy that likes to hear his own voice, and if you didn't stop him, he would just go on talking forever. I just thought it was kind of funny.
Oh, I mean that's the same as the other one.
Yeah, basically.
Okay, great. Yeah, I mean that sounds fun to me. I hope the bad guys are fun, right? I hope there's a little bit of like we can have fun with these bad guys. The other thing I think we've been sorely missing in Star Wars for a while now is fun, really enjoyable bad guys. Sorry, Pike Syndicate.
I know. Those guys weren't threatening at all.
No, like
it was their
guys.
numbers. It was like the battle droids, right? Their strength was in their numbers, like overwhelming.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like
I think that kind of goes with your last one there, Victoria. If you wanna, your last now.
Yeah. So about the Inquisitors turning good. You mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I don't want to see like, you know, anything too predictable. I don't want to see something in there just because it's convenient. And I feel like one thing that is convenient is Inquisitors, like, you know, being bad and just suddenly like, oh, I'm good again. Or, you know, being pushed to the edge, kind of like in Fallen Order. I think that was one of the things with the second sister. You know, she's evil throughout the whole game. And at the end, she finally renounces Vader and then he kills her. So like, I don't want that to be a thing here. I don't want, you know, I understand that like character arcs are important, but I think you can do that without Kylo Renning it or Vadering it, or, you know, all of a sudden they decide to denounce the dark side and suddenly realize, oh, I'm on the wrong team here. You know, I was serious about killing everybody and now I'm not going to do that. That's a little too easy, I think, a little too predictable. And I think like with, you know, Reva, she seems to be like the main, like maybe main villain in the show, or at least the one maybe we see the most. I hope that's not a thing. I mean, obviously she's not in Rebels. She's not in Fallen Order. Well, Fallen Order takes place before, I believe, Obi-Wan, 2 years before. So I don't want to see a repeat of like that kind of thing. I want it to be like unique, and the Inquisitors have their own, you know, I don't think they all need their own arcs. I really don't. Mm-hmm. But I think at least maybe like with Reva, you see something there. But I don't want it to lead back to her like just becoming good again, because that's a little, I think with Star Wars, it's something we've seen a little too much of.
Well, it's definitely a very Star Wars-y thing, isn't it? That's like kind of everyone's got their sort of redemption arc thing. So yeah, I can see why you wouldn't. You know, that I don't think I'd be opposed to seeing that because it's such a Star Wars-y thing. But also, I didn't play the video game, so if it's the same thing as the video game, then it's like, yeah, you just did that, right? So yeah, it wouldn't bother me, but I can see why that would be. Yeah, it's a little tropey at this point for Star Wars.
Right, yeah. No, for sure. It is a trope. Yeah, I think that sums up our lists pretty good, though. So, you know, lots of expectations, things we want to see and things we don't necessarily want to see. So I think these are good lists. I think that, you know, some of these are kind of obvious, and hopefully they happen, and hopefully we get to see some of the things we really do want to see as well.
If I don't get exactly what I want, I'm going to be really angry and write about it for years. Like I have been with The Rise of Skywalker. I'm a cranky guy.
Yeah.
That's what
Happy
happens.
old Tom.
Yeah,
There's a reason he calls himself that.
because I'm gross.
So very cool. I'm excited for this show. Let's talk about a little bit about Star Wars Celebration. So that is coming up, and obviously, one of the big things that we tend to gravitate towards is toys and collectibles.
Yes.
We all do that, and that's in the DNA of Victoria's Cantina and this podcast, which this is the this podcast is turning 6 this year, I think.
Nice.
Yeah, and so yes, let's touch on what we hope to see as far as toys and collectibles go, because I think Celebration is historically has been a time where Hasbro, whatever company making Star Wars products, has used it as a platform to reveal new things. So I want to talk a little bit about what we think could possibly get announced.
All right, so we've seen the Wandering Jedi. We know 3 Vintage Collection figures are coming, and I would bet those are the only 3 we'll see for at least a year, right? Obi-Wan, Darth Vader, and Reva.
Yep.
I'd be surprised if we see any more Vintage Collection ones for quite a
Same.
while, which is a bit of a bummer. I would love to see. I mean, we've seen Black Series Obi-Wan, and I've pre-ordered that from friend of the channel Nerd Zoic.
Nice.
And I'm certain we'll get a new Darth Vader, or a re-release of Darth Vader. We'll get a Reva, maybe a Grand Inquisitor.
I think that was the rumor from Yakface that the Grand Inquisitor for Black Series was.
That would make sense. Yeah, I would love to see a set of retro figures. I'm loving the retro figures thing. I finally bit the bullet and bought the second wave of Mandalorian ones. And while I only opened a couple of Death Troopers to put in my vintage case. The other ones I'm keeping carded just because I just love that so much. I think they're knocking it out of the park with those things. So I hope we get some retro ones. A wave of Obi-Wan retro figures would be really fun. But what other characters? I mean, Joel Edgerton, Owen Lars probably isn't the most exciting figure, but man, I'd buy one in a heartbeat.
Yeah, for retro collection, you mean?
Black Series, probably. I don't think I'd
Yeah.
buy him for. Oh man, if they made him for retro collection, if they made him an Aunt Beru retro collection, those go in my vintage cabinet.
They did make one for in 3 3/4 inch in the Legacy collection, I think 2009 or so, and it's a good figure. But yeah, I don't know that that'd be a compelling figure for them to bring back, given how few they actually bring back now. But yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, I think all the Inquisitors would make sense potentially as sellable figures that would do well.
Yeah, though you can still flush that fifth brother one down the drain. I hate that guy. No offense to whoever the new actor is playing him. Maybe he'll be fun this time. He could be really engaging this time.
Yeah,
Fingers
you're right.
crossed, but yeah, sorry.
But yeah, other than that, I mean, we don't really know a whole lot of, characters, I think, that are in the show, other than the ones that you guys have mentioned.
Yeah, we're in this weird time right now where we don't know. We haven't seen anything but the trailer, so let's hope it's good. What do you think, Kenobi? What if he has a ship or something?
That'd be
Something
cool.
they could have in Vintage Collection.
They'll never release it for Vintage Collection.
But what if it's cool, like something Mando has, or I don't know.
Obi-Wan
But,
Slave 2.
Oh, yes! And some woke goblin comes up and says, "You can't name it Slave 2," and he says, "I am Obi-Wan and I cancel culture," and yeah, I don't know.
No, all he says is, "Hello there," and he takes off.
Yes, he says hello there. That's what we want to see in the show, guys. We want to see him say hello there. None of us said it. God. Imagine if he doesn't
First
say
line of the show.
It's gotta be. It's gotta
Hand
be.
down from the twin suns. across the
Hello
desert,
there.
Just looks into the camera. Hello there.
Yeah. A ship
Yeah.
would be really cool, though. It looks like the Inquisitors had a neat-looking ship.
I'm visualizing it like this. Now you got me thinking. Dave. So he's looking there with his binoculars at Luke, and then the sunset, and then the camera like comes up and pans up, gets close to him, and he turns around. And he's like, "Hello there."
Yeah. You may be
It's all
wondering
like-
how I got myself into this position.
Yes.
It all started back when. Yeah, that's
It
what
comes
Exactly
up
what
to-
I was thinking. Yes.
He comes up to Vader. They encounter each other for the first time. "Hello there."
Hello there. Yeah, and they just talk in quotes from other movies. Like Vader has to say, "Impressive, most impressive," and Obi-Wan says another Obi-Wan quote. Now there are two of them. No, that's not Obi-Wan. I don't know.
He tells, he's like to the Inquisitor, one of the Inquisitors, "Come here, little one. Don't be afraid."
Yeah, huh? Yeah.
And then he kills him.
Yeah, and he stabs him in the face. That's what I want to see. I want to see Obi-Wan murdering people. Murdering people with his sword. Murder!
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head, Tom. I think we're gonna get reveals for what's been leaked. For Vintage Collection. Vader, Obi-Wan, and Reva, and for Black Series, I think. Yak Face is usually right, so let's assume it's Grand Inquisitor, and then we know Obi-Wan's coming for Black Series, and maybe Black Series has another one or two that we are not aware of. I can see that being a thing. They show a couple of figures from Obi-Wan and Black Series that.
I'd bet money on Reva, and obviously Vader.
Yeah, I would say I think that's accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, for the toys' sake, I guess let's hope this show is a hit, because I think that's the pattern they're establishing now. Probably all those figures that you mentioned are going to be the 3, 4, 5 that we get. Maybe they have another couple stragglers and another wave coming in the next 6 months or something. But we haven't really got a lot of announcements from Boba Fett, I guess, with the reviews being mixed. So yeah, if we want more, and they follow the Mandalorian, at least for Black Series release, it's got to be a mega hit where you're going to get these, characters.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. And I think, they're manufacturers. Lego will have stuff. I think Funko will definitely have a lot of stuff. I think Hot Toys will probably announce Obi-Wan and maybe Vader or an Inquisitor or something. But yeah, it'll be exciting to see what happens. There will definitely be merchandise announced. There will definitely be stuff on display, and I'm sure they've got a couple surprises we haven't seen. So yeah, it'll be interesting, and once we get to see all that, and we'll talk about it. We'll talk about whether our expectations are met with not just with Celebration, but with Obi-Wan Kenobi, and it'll be fun to maybe come back here again, regroup, maybe even like a cocktail hour, and see what we've seen. Social hour to see what we've seen.
Social hour. Yeah.
Yeah.
4 more days, guys. 4 more days.
It's
More
coming.
days.
It's coming.
I wish I hate to say this, I wish it aired at a specific time, like at nighttime, rather than like, I was okay with watching Boba Fett and The Mandalorian and whatever, like in like Friday mornings after or whatever day it was released, with like a cup of coffee, and I'm just kind of scrolling through Twitter or whatever. This I want to feel the event of it.
Yeah.
So fingers crossed. I'll be
The popcorn, the soda, dim the lights, all that.
Yeah, and
Turn
but I
it up
know
loud.
I'm going to have to watch it almost as soon as it comes out. I know I'm going to have to.
Yeah, same here. I told my husband already, hey, we're gonna watch them like Friday night when I get, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna watch them, and then Saturday I don't want to be spoiled at Celebration. We got to watch them Friday night. So.
Yeah, that's been a tradition in our household for even most of the Marvel shows. Is we wake up on the Wednesday or Friday morning, and I'll watch them 6 o'clock hour before work.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Wow.
The kids are even into the Marvel stuff, and especially the Star Wars, and we'll check it out right before we head out of the house. Because I don't want to be on my phone and see. Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had something spoiled for me on my phone recently. I don't remember what it was, but it was something I was like, nuts! I wish I hadn't known about that.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a big deal, but it was something that was like, oh,
The
I
cost
remember
of
what
gas.
it was. What?
It was the cost of gas.
What?
The price
cost
of gasoline.
Oh, I live in Brooklyn. I don't drive anywhere.
Not affected.
Yeah, it's bad out where you're at there, Victoria.
It's like almost
Real
$100,
bad.
pushing $100 to fill up my car. It's insane. Never been that much. But
Dark times ahead.
the dark times before the empire. Well, cool guys. This has been fun.
Yep, nice and quick.
Yeah, nice.
Short and sweet.
Short and sweet. So, we'll do this again soon as always. It's great to be back. Great to be back here on Cantina Chatter Podcast, doing an episode. And looking forward to everybody listening to our crazy, wacky, and sometimes grumpy thoughts. So thanks so much, guys, for hanging out.
Thanks, Victoria. It was a blast.
For sure.
Yeah, thank you.
For sure. Tom, where can our listeners go to look you up on the interwebs?
On Twitter, I'm Woozlin Demon, WOOZLINDEMON. As weird as it sounds, it's based off of heffalumps and woozles. Demon, Woozlin Demon. Don't ask me, I created it like 30 years ago.
Ooh,
I'm on
that's a long time
Instagram
ago.
too with the same name. There's a picture of me and my wife. I'm dressed as Kylo Ren. She's dressed as General Hux. But I very rarely post on Instagram. Maybe I'll start posting more.
At least you're consistent.
Yep.
Consistent and not being consistent. All right, I like it. Dave, where can our listeners and viewers go to look you up on the interwebs?
Jurassic Dave 93 on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. I mean, we've got Kenobi, and then 2 weeks after that, Jurassic World Dominion. This is why I'm alive right now. So come talk to me about any of those two things, because that's all I want to talk about right now.
Yeah, Top Gun. I mean, there's all kinds of things happening.
Yeah.
All kinds of things. All right. Well, thanks again, guys. Until next time, may the Force be with you. We'll see you soon.
See you later.
Live long and prosper.
Thank you for listening to the Cantina Chatter podcast. Huge thanks to my guests on this episode. You can also find me on the Vintage Collection podcast, available wherever you get your podcasts. Please consider leaving us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts. Follow Victoria's Cantina, where it all started on YouTube, celebrating 9 years this year, where we talk about Star Wars toys, including news, analysis, reviews, and interviews. There's also the weekly live stream Cantina Social Hour every Friday night. You can follow me on Twitter at Vic's Cantina, on Instagram at Victoria's Cantina, and on Facebook and TikTok. Extra special thanks to our Patreon supporters. Thank you so much for helping us to do what we do. Collect them all. And no matter where you're tuning in from out in the galaxy, I'd like to thank you for tuning in to the Cantina Chatter podcast.